Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel. We are post Monsters on the Ohio, and we got a great one going tonight. How's it going, Doc?
Doing well. Still trying to recover from the weekend.
It was a big one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Had a blast.
It was a good time. It was a good time. Chuck has been telling us about pirate ships. Hell, I don't think he's worried about catching fish. I think he's worried about them pirate ships going down the Ohio River.
Yeah, man, that was unbelievable. We was sitting there, not too far from the ramp. It was the end of the day and hitting a few last holes, and Josh says, "Man, here comes some pirate ships." And I looked up, and it was about 50 yards behind the boat coming down the river. I'm like, wow, there was two of them. But that's pretty wild seeing, them guys.
Man, you picked up yourself a dandy fishing partner, didn't you?
Yeah, he was a hoot, man. We had a great time.
I can't imagine. I mean, you're in Owensboro, Kentucky, and everything is going good when you pull up to Bass and Moore, and Brandon and Terrence are waiting in the street to show you where to park, so you got a place to park out there. There's no place in the world like that. Them guys, they take care of us, and it's just so much fun down there, and we really, really had a good time. I see Doc got knocked out for some reason, but he'll be back in. But it was a blast.
Yeah, we had a great time, man. It just seems like there's not enough time. You don't have enough time to do the tournament thing and socialize, and then you feel like you need to be doing both.
That's exactly right. We had a great time down there, and the motel we stayed at there was really nice rooms. The parking was a little tight, but it was a great motel to sleep in. They took really good care of us. We got there the first night we got there. They had a dinner, and I don't know what was going on, whether they do that every Wednesday night or whatever, but we went down and had meatball subs, and they was really good. And breakfast for us every morning, clean rooms, nice rooms. Like I say, it was a little tight with the parking, but we made everything work out. Everybody helped each other get in and out of the parking lot. And it was great. It was a good time. We didn't fare so well in the tournament, but we caught a giant gar down there, didn't we, Doc?
Oh man, that thing was huge, and he wanted me. Boy, he tried to take my hand. He tried to take my hand off. Yeah.
Oh man!
He left a nice little cut in my hand and left a whole bunch of little needle tattoos on my little finger right here, buddy. I mean, then he took a Leatherman out of my hand that I've owned since 1971.
Oh, I hated that, but it was a really good, fun time. We marked a lot of fish. I don't know what the deal was. We couldn't get them to go, but
yeah.
That's the thing. We got to try out the church planer boards down there on the Ohio. They worked really good, and them things really work good drifting with them Larry Muse Dragon Trails. Now, I mean, they really do. You build you up some of them and get them out behind the boat, and you can cover a wide area range of stuff, and I was thrilled with how all that stuff went on down there, and I missed the only good bite we had all day, and I thought probably you and Cindy was going to throw me out of the boat, but you didn't, and I'm pretty happy about that, actually. And then I pulled that gar up, and after you lost all your tools and got cut up by that thing, I was pretty sure I was going to get tossed out of the boat, but I didn't.
I was bleeding pretty good there for a while.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Cindy had the Band-Aids out and had all that going on. But, we had a really good show down at Bass and Moore, and that building they got is just really, really nice down there. I'm so happy for them guys to get in that place. It's close to the water. It's close to where we have our tournaments. Nobody had problems finding it, and it's a big place, one room, and that went on. That was really, really a good place to have that, and our show went good. I was just pleased with the way everything went down there, and I got to tell you guys that old Aaron Wheatley's got it going on running in tournaments now. Everything just clicked, went real smooth, and he running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I don't know how in the world that man keeps sane that whole week with that stuff going on.
Yeah, he did a good job. It was, well, it went real well, and everything went through. I think I counted it up. The 77 boats is what was weighed in, so that you can tell the conditions were real poor when over half the field doesn't catch a fish.
Well, and we knew that front was coming through, and we knew it was going to be windy, but it really was windy. It really was. I can't determine, but I'm guessing 20 to 30 mile an hour gust. I'm assuming.
I don't know. That one area we were in, it was cranking.
Yes, it was. It really was, and when you got two drift socks out and you can't stay off the bank, even with the trolling motor running, it's pretty tough. But all in all, it was a great week. We had a lot of fun, man. I'm so full from all the stuff we ate. I may never recoup from all that. It was, we probably should have slacked off a little bit on my end of the eating deal. I just, it's been really tough. Got to see a bunch of people that we only see once or twice a year. We got to see James and Lisa Prince and Brian and the people down Bass and Moore and Jim and Sheila and Brandon and Terrence Head and his dad went in that boat. I cannot think of anybody I would have rather seen, and everybody deserves to win it. I don't mean it that way, but Terrence does so much helping Aaron. He does so much helping Jim and Sheila and Brandon, and anybody that needs anything, he goes out of his way to make sure everybody gets whatever they need. And for him to win that boat, I was just very, very happy for him. Nobody deserves it any more than Terrence did, and I'm thrilled that him and his dad won that boat. And get to fish with your dad in a tournament like that in itself has to be something really neat.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for them and glad that they won it, and I know that they'll enjoy it or they'll sell it or they'll do whatever it is that they decide they want to do with it. But that's a pretty nice boat. Thanks Sea-Ark for putting that out there for everybody to have a shot at, and they'll figure out what they're going to do with it and make it happen. Like I say, I can't think of too much else that really went on. And did you guys happen to see, I know you did, Doc, the size of those shad that was being caught down there?
Yeah.
I can't get over that. It was huge. I never seen shad so big. I don't know what went on, why they was that big, where they got them, but I never seen nothing like them. They was just monsters, sumo shad.
Yep, they were big.
We didn't find the moon eye, but that's okay. I don't think it'd have made any difference the way things went for us. I don't think moon eye would have made a bit of difference, but I know a lot of guys was finding them, and some of them guys and Heath Malone and Elena come down and fish this year together as a woman and husband team. That was really neat. Got to see Ryan and Claude down there. Them guys been fishing tournaments since they was kids together. That's a pretty cool deal with them. And there was a lot of new people, and some of them I don't remember their names, and I should. I've got messages from tons of them, and we had a little excitement in the motel. Nothing really too big, but
okay. You weren't on the third floor.
No, that's right. I was not. Bill Parfit and Tyler Moses. For those of you that don't know Bill, you need to make an effort. He is really a hoot. We've tried to get him on the show, and I think he's afraid that he might say something that he shouldn't. But he is as good a guy as there ever was. Help anybody, do anything for anybody, brings generators and those little tents and stuff for everybody to sit under to get out of the shade when they're not doing anything. And really helpful guy, and he's just a blast to be around. But we're going to get old Bill on the show one of these days, and we'll try to get him and Jason Rath at the same time. That way one of them can watch the other to make sure that they keep in line. But they're a blast. And Chuck, tell us about your week staying over at Josh's house. That had to be a blast with all you guys in there.
Oh, yeah, it was. It's just so busy. When I was there, it was just hang out, talk for a second, and hit the sack most of the time. Or, they wasn't, hour or two before bed, we was able to sit around and chat a little bit. But, there was just so much running around getting prepared. There wasn't a whole lot of time for socializing. Yeah, but we had, Chadwell and Frank Neely, they fished together, and, they hung out there. And we had quite a few guys there the night before the tournament, guys that just came in town, went to the captain's meeting, and more or less just needed somewhere to hang around until, they went down the boat ramp at 2 or 3. A couple of guys leaned back in their truck and slept with their foot on the brake pedal and needed jumped off when it was time to go. But I've done that before. It's hard to get comfortable, and you start getting all stretched out in that driver's seat. That brake pedal's got to go a little bit further down to get comfortable, and that brake light stays on. You just don't know it. But two guys' batteries were dead. They got jumped off so I could get out, and there was like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks and boats. I think back behind Josh's house. So there was quite a few people there. There was people sleeping on the back porch, in the trailer, his little tournament trailer. They had some people in there sleeping. Charles Breedlove and his partner. But it was a good time over there. He's
I bet it was.
Yeah, he's good as gold. He's I just hope, he tightens up a little bit. He's such a nice guy. I'm afraid people are going to try to take advantage of him. When you get around people like that, you're like, man, I hope people don't ever try to take advantage of him because he's too good. That's kind of that's the kind of guy Josh is, man. He's good as gold. He'll do anything for anybody. And I told him to reserve me a room for next year. I'm ready to come back.
Well, awesome. I got a little question I have to know the answer to. You and I and Doc and Chad and all of us talked about this the other day. How did the snoring go with old Chad after he didn't have no sleep for quite a while?
The fans kind of drowned it out. He got up and turned his fan off about 12 or 1 o'clock, and I heard him pretty good from there. But everybody was so worn out. The snoring wasn't really bothering anybody.
Right. Well, he come in and we talked to him down at Bassamore when he got there, and he said he hadn't had no sleep in a while, and he was afraid he'd keep you up all night. Yeah, he did. And I told him, I said, well, Chuck's kind of counting on you sawing off a few, so I wouldn't worry about it too much because that's the way it goes. What do you guys say we get these boys in here and see if we can visit with them a little bit? Yeah, heck yeah. Let's find out how you win Monsters on the Ohio.
Yeah, man, get them on here.
I just sent them a link. Should be just a few minutes. They should pop right in with us, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man, we need to find out where them fishing spots were.
That is no joke, man.
What they use for bait.
All that stuff.
How did they present the bait? How'd they get them cold front fish to bite?
There we go. We need all that information. Well, they should pop in here in just a minute. They got their link, so it won't be long. But they caught some really good fish down there, and it was awesome. And it's good to see new guys coming into the sport and doing well like they did.
Yeah, I mean they're awesome catfishermen anyway. Just starting to do it competitively. They probably got it. They probably got addicted pretty quick because they had a fun time, fishing the Mississippi River monsters and the monsters that hold back to back. Man, what a better way to start.
Yeah, and I talked to Jeremy this afternoon. He's doing a test run, and he said he went down there to Mississippi River monsters and done really, for the first tournament he fished, thought he'd done really well, and he had to give this one a try, and what better that could you do than go down there and win monsters on the Ohio? I mean, it's awesome. So they'll get their link in here in a minute and get clicked on there, and we'll get them going. What did you guys think? First time I ever seen at Monsters on the Ohio, first all-woman team.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, we had one at Monsters of Ohio. We had a woman catfishing team there.
A mother-daughter team. Yeah, I've talked to them. We're going to try to get them on the show here a while back. We was going to try to do the two girls that Steve brought down there. I can't pronounce the one's name, so I'm not even going to try. But one of the girls worked for Jeff Jones Marine. We met her down there at the conference last year. Really nice young lady, and I believe it was her sister that fished with her. But the team that was at Mississippi River Monsters was a mother-daughter team from Wisconsin, and I have them set up to be on the show here in the next few weeks, and that ought to make for a really good show. A really nice lady. It's good for the sport, it really is, to get these teams. We'll talk about these women, but one of the highlights of the weekend, of course, I got to fish with Doc, so it don't get a whole lot better than that. But I got to spend a little time with Connor King, visiting with him at the weigh-in, and that kid is the nicest, most polite young man that ever was. Very knowledgeable about fishing. He's got a plan on what he wants to do with everything, and I'm so impressed with him. He's just a great guy, and I'm going to tell you something. By the time that kid gets to be 15, 18 years old, he fishes with his mom and dad now, and they're always in a contender. But when he decides he's going to go out and do it on his own, he's going to start at the top. He don't have to work his way up there. He'll already be there.
Yeah, he's real knowledgeable.
Yep, he really is. He knows what he wants in his equipment. He knows what he wants in bait, and he's just very, very nice young man. Like I say, he's so polite and courteous, and just thrilled to be around him. It's an honor every time I see him. And Wayne and Jennifer, they're just really good people. And if that little girl there starts fishing tournaments before long, they're going to be bad then.
Yeah, he carries himself. I mean, so mature, and it's awesome.
Yep, he's a professional at age, what is it, 12 or 13? 12, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Just amazes me. Good bringing up. Jennifer and Wayne have raised them kids right. I mean, you don't see that as much these days as you did when we was kids, and I'm very thrilled with him being a part of our junior pro staff. He's just a really nice guy. I just think the world of him. We had a really great time both shooting up there, and we laughed and joked and talked about fishing and talked about fishing rods and talked about Monsters on the Ohio, and it was just a really nice time visiting with him.
Yeah, we I've heard this from a few different people, but when we're on sites and doing shows, our audio ain't real too good. I guess because we're so stretched out with one mic in a central location or something.
Yeah.
And I've had people talk about, they can hear. But Jason Geary just told me that he can help us with that. So I'm trying to find out how he can help us with that. Jason Geary is a great guy. He tries to help me any way he can doing anything.
Yeah, well, that's good.
That blue ball picks up so much. I mean, it is a superior mic.
Yeah, it is.
I noticed it was picking up the people that were up. I heard the cash register ringing a couple of times on it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
So, I don't know exactly what we need to do about that, man. It's just.
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing is we're working on setting up my new my Canon to where it will do where it will do the feed instead of the little webcam. I've got to get a longer wire. The wire that I have that runs to the computer for the camera is too short, so you can't get it away from the thing. And then what we're going to do is probably end up getting a boom mic, and somebody will sit back there and run it back and forth when people are talking.
Yeah, I mean, we get so many people wanting to, the people that can't go to these events. I mean, they're all over it. They're wanting to hear what's going on. I mean, I'm the same way. When I can't go to the event, I'm waiting on live feeds. I'm waiting to hear, people that I know that's at the event. I'm checking their pages, see who they're talking to, seeing what's going on. It's not being nosy. It's just wishing you were there, and it helps you be a part of it, even though you're not.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
So,
I'm going to
get the
Here on YouTube, Trapper234 is saying, sure was nice to see so many people of Owensboro show up at the weigh-in. And there was a lot of people there.
There was a great crowd there. There always is. But I don't know if this was the biggest crowd or not, but there was a lot of people there. A lot of people there. Let me try to send them another link and another form. You guys go ahead and discuss some stuff. Let me see if I can get them in here.
Okay. Yeah, so Chuck was a win. I'm sure some of the people I talked to, they were out of the wind, and it didn't matter where we went. That wind was following us.
Yeah, we was, it was coming right down our pipeline. So we was on a stretch of river where we had a couple of bends that really helped us out. So even though the wind was beating on us pretty good, we didn't have miles and miles and miles of, big wakes coming at us. So
there they are.
There they are. Hey, guys.
How you fellas doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good. Congratulations. You guys put a pretty good round of fish in the boat down there at Monsters on the Ohio, and it was great to see some newcomers into the sport to jump in there and kick us old men's butts.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
We try to get the winners on every year, if we can. Sometimes they don't have the equipment stuff, but I'm glad that you guys have got everything and are in the show with us tonight. Y'all want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I'm not sure any of us, up until you went down there and took all the money, I don't think any of us was aware of you guys before.
No, we're just a couple of small town country boys that fish all the time and just never really got into competitive fishing.
Well, you had it going on Saturday, that's for sure.
You picked a good one to start up. That's for sure.
We fished a lot. We just never did really tournament fish.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on doing this? Are you guys going to try to do some more tournament fishing in the future?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I know, Jerry, you was down at Mississippi Monsters. Was you the only one of the two of you that went down there?
Yes, I went down there with another friend of mine and fished the Monsters. Yeah.
That was quite an event down there, too. So the two tournaments that you've really been in was two of the biggest tournaments in the United States. I'm not saying they're the biggest, but there's two of the big ones. They must have a rough internet connection. Chuck, you want to take off and see what you can do with them boys and try to squeeze some info out of them and find out what we got to do to win that thing?
Oh, yeah, man. Did y'all go up or down?
We went up. We put in the channel timber and ran up about 35, 40 miles.
How long of a run did y'all make?
About 45 minutes.
25 minutes?
25 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What type of water would y'all fish in depths? What the river like in y'all's location?
We're fishing about 35 to 45 foot of water.
Awesome. And you said that the area y'all was fishing, y'all had been watching over for a couple of weeks.
Yes. I've been going down there fishing for about the last week.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Lyle's mic's too close to his speaker and mic's too close together.
Oh, they're a foot and a half apart.
Are they? Because we're echoing bad.
How's this?
That's better. What was y'all's bait of choice?
Could you repeat that? You're trying to break it up.
What was your bait of choice? Skipjack. All right. I guess everybody had it. It just didn't work for everybody. But what techniques did y'all use to get them to bite on that cold front?
I mostly ran dead sticks.
Say that again. You're breaking up.
We mostly ran dead sticks.
Oh, so y'all were just dropping down vertical dead stick?
For the most part, yeah.
So did patience have a lot to do with it? You knew that down there, you waited it out.
The early morning bite was all right on the dead stick. After about 10 o'clock, we were going down the
Y'all back up just a little bit. Maybe that's try it now.
The early morning bite was good on the dead stick, but after about 10 o'clock, we were pulling dragon tail rigs.
Oh, y'all started dragging. How many of y'all's fish come off of the dragon tail compared to the dead sticks?
After about 10 o'clock in the morning, everything came off the dragon tail rig.
Awesome. So y'all find some pretty nice structure on that 150 yard stretch of river, and y'all just kept dragging back and forth through it?
Yeah. The fish were stacked on the channel at about 35 to 45 foot of water. And we were getting a pretty good barge bite when the fish, when the barges would go by.
All right, so the barges helped you out, huh?
Yeah, significantly.
Yeah, they didn't help us out much. They just would rock the boat. That's about all they did for us.
They helped real good until the ride back.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you got a load of fish, though.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys. We do appreciate it.
Hey, man, we try to do this all the time, and we love the fact that new guys are coming into the sport, don't we, Chuck? That's just awesome.
It is, man. This is this is big news, and it's just it's great for the sport. There's plenty of guys out there that's wanting to jump right in and start doing this, and that they would think, no, I'm just going to be throwing my money away, and you know, when guys come out of the woodwork and go out and win a major tournament like this, I mean, it can't get no better for the sport than what y'all did Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man, I think I picked your brain enough. I'm going to pass you on to Doc and let him pick your brains a little bit.
Okay, so what kind of boat are you guys fishing out of?
We're fishing out of a 20-foot all well.
Oh, all oil. Okay. All right. So you were mainly just targeting structure. The fish were sitting in the structure. Or were they above the structure?
We were targeting the channel edge.
Okay.
There was a sand flat that ran out to meet the channel, and the fish were laying in the sand pockets.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Cool. Anybody around you? Were you the only boat there?
No. We were the only boat there. Anyone there.
Well, when you're on fish, that's the way to be.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't want to be somebody. Yeah, that's one thing you don't want is to have somebody else see a rod go down.
We were afraid if we get up there, there'd be 20 boats on that spot.
Wow. So you guys launched out of Rocky Point?
Yes.
And then you went upriver from Rocky Point. Cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's some nice water up there. It's deep. Twisting and turning.
There was a lot of deep water. We had I've been fishing up there for about 3 weeks, and I couldn't get any bites in the deep water. The active fish seem to be in about 35 to 40 foot of water. 35 to 45 foot of water, or at least the ones that would bite.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and everything come on. Did you catch your fish on large skipjack, or did you guys downsize because of the cold front?
We downsized on the dragon tail rigs and run big baits on the dead sticks.
Okay. All right. Any particular thing were they hitting head, bottom, midsection, bellies? What were they hitting? What were they wanting?
Well, the 41 pounder that we caught was caught on a head on one of our dead sticks.
Okay. So he probably buried that rod in the water then.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, when they do that, it's on when they do that.
Yeah, Irvin actually thought I was snagged until he heard the reel start going out, and then he said, "I'll get the net."
Now, was the wind pounding you guys real bad up there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, were you spot locking on top of these fish when you were dead sticking, or were you just moving around with the wind and the
We were
waves?
doing our best. We were doing our best to troll upriver at the slowest speed we could possibly go.
Yeah.
Using the north on the trolling motor to guide us.
Using the what?
The north button on the trolling motor, just to guide straight line.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still learning how to use Lyle's. Yeah. I finally figured out what that north button did, but it took me a while.
Yeah, it's helpful. It's very, very helpful in a high wind. You can drive it better with the north button than you can with your thumb.
Yeah. 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 Well, good deal, guys. Again, congratulations. Awesome win. I hope you guys come back. Well, I know you guys are going to be coming back next year because you're the number one boat coming out next year. So.
Well, we're really glad you guys. What was that? You got a slow feed up there on their end, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. we kind of live out in the woods.
Well, you know, like we was talking about, it is so great that some guys just decide to fish tournaments, come in there, and you know, you guys fished against some of the top teams in the whole United States. We had guys all the way from California show up, and there was all but one or two, maybe three of the top teams across the nation that was down there, and you put a whooping on all of them. So I'm glad to see you guys come in and fish these tournaments, and I know we're going to be looking forward to seeing you from now. You won't be able to sneak in there and get it now. Everybody's going to be watching, see what you're doing now.
I'm going to get a new boat now.
Heck yeah. Well, we're proud of you, man. You guys done an awesome job, and it's just really neat that you come down there and fish with a bunch of us, and you'll get to know everybody, and the sitting around the motels like we do, and having a good time. At the end of the day, we're all out in the parking lot or in a breakfast or a break room at the motels, and we all just have a big time. And I'm looking forward to getting with you guys and seeing what's going on with how your fishing stuff does. You know, there's a lot of tournaments up around the St. Louis area and all over Kansas City and Missouri and stuff where you don't have to go that far. But when you want to fish them big tournaments like Mississippi River Monsters and Memphis, you guys are going to be right in there. I know it. You know that you are. And if we're doing a live show sometime, pardon me, like at Bass and Moore or Memphis when we was down at the Pyramid, you guys need to come over and introduce yourself to us, and we'll get you in them shows because what you done last weekend was just really cool.
Well, thank you. Be happy to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a question. Trapper 234 wants to know, did you guys use the balloon floats with the dragon tails?
We took the balloons off of the dragon tails because the fish were glued so tight to the bottom, we wasn't catching any suspended fish after about 8 o'clock. The fish were useless. We took the balloons and the floats off, and we're dragging bait for the dragon tail in the sand.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
Good job. All right.
I got another
Trapper. Go ahead.
Hey, have y'all been approached by anybody wanting you to use their gear yet since Saturday?
No, sir, have not.
Well, it's probably coming. Be ready.
Before we got done.
Yeah, just say, hey, man, send me some. Let me try them out, and I'll give you an answer back if your gear's good enough.
Yeah. Have your friend requests, have you been getting a lot of friend requests since then?
Oh, yeah, yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time we sneak in and win one, that the numbers of people that are on your friends list always goes up, seems like. But, it's like I say, we're really happy for you guys. You've done an outstanding job, and you put the time and effort in. I mean, if you went down there 3 weeks in a row looking for fish and babysit them babies and nobody knew you was in there, that is a way to do it, man. The problem we usually have is if we find fish, everybody else finds the same fish, or they see you in there and then they sneak over there when you leave to go look somewhere else, and they check it out, and then everybody knows where those fish are at, and that makes it a little difficult. But it sounds to me like you had a spot up there all to your own, and it worked out great for you guys.
Yes, it.
That's awesome.
We never really fished those fish until tournament day. We dropped baits in them a couple times to see if they'd bite, and they did. And we just left them alone until the day of the tournament.
That's the way to do it, man. Now, when you're talking about dropping some bait on them to see if they was biting, was you trying to catch them, or was you just tying some bait onto your line and letting them have it?
No, we put hooks on, but we catch 1 or 2 fish, and we just left them alone.
That's good. I know I've talked to guys like Jason Jackson and stuff, and they safety pin bait on, and they just let them pull it off of them and go on so they don't sore them up. And there's a lot of ways to do it. I was just curious if you was actually catching a few of them or whether you was just testing the water or how you done it. So that's good information. And, we appreciate you sharing the information on how you caught these fish, because there's a lot of guys that are starting out and all this information. These guys are like sponges. Anything that they hear, they retain and try to remember it. So when they get to a tournament, they say, well, these guys here won Monsters on the Ohio, and this is how they're doing it. Let's see if we can put that into effect and make it work for us. And that's how the sport gets better.
Okay, here's another question. Were you guys using fresh skipjack, or were you using the frozen skipjack?
We were using fresh skipjack that we got at Bass and More. We picked it up Friday after the meeting, and it was on ice.
Okay.
That's good. I don't know how much different there is in the fresh and the frozen. We had both. Yeah. I know you can thaw that frozen out that comes from Carl, and when you cut it, it still bleeds. And I've never seen that before. Any froze bait I've ever used, I've never cut into it and it bled like the stuff that he's got does. And that chamber sealer he's got them keeps them really, really fresh. And but good bait a lot of times is the key to how well you do in a tournament. Now, and skipjack was the only bait you used. You're breaking up a little, fellas. Did you say skipjack was the only bait you used?
Was the only thing we used.
Only thing you used. Wow. Well, it's pretty hard to beat that this time of year. Them cats, they really like that skipjack, and if you could have caught them, the only way it could have been better than what you got down there at Bass and More is if you'd have caught them on the way to your spot that morning. Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you coming on the show and visiting with us. Congratulations, a great win. I can't wait to meet you guys. If I'm at a tournament somewhere, and I know Chuck and Doc feel the same way, please come over to us and introduce yourself so we get a chance to see you face to face. And I'll have some more technical questions for you when that happens.
Yeah, I talked to Jeremy while Travis was going to take the lie detector test. I stood there and talked to Jeremy and Larry Muse and Don Dalton for a while, and that's when I let Jeremy know. I said, hey, man, get ready for Monday night. You get to be on our show. He's like, what? What show? So I informed him on everything, and Larry Muse filled him in about the show and everything. But I was sitting there talking to him and Larry Muse, and Jeremy and Larry Muse have been keeping in touch, and they've been, talking, sharing information, giving each other tips, and all that. So, Jeremy, he's been communicating with some of the best in the sport, getting tips on the, how the competitive catfishing works and where it compares to just going out and trophy hunting and stuff. So, he got some information from the best in the business on some good stuff.
That's 100% correct. It don't get much tougher than that, and it's really good to share that information. Like I say, we appreciate you guys coming on the show with us and not only telling us how you done it and all the viewers, but once this show is over, if you're not aware with it, it uploads to YouTube, and people can watch this show from now on. And a lot of these guys starting out, they'll go and watch these shows like that, and they'll watch it over and over and over, so they make sure they catch all the things that you're telling us about, so they can try it. And that's how they find out what works for them. And what works for you may not work for them, or it may not work for me, but if it's working for you, it'll work for somebody down the road. And we appreciate you helping us out like that.
Yeah,
But
Yep.
Joseph Gordon posted on YouTube saying, "Pretty heads up, thinking to take off the floats to stick the baits on the bottom to counterpunch the tough conditions." That's pretty smart thinking.
That's a heck of a deal, you know. And Doc, we didn't do that. You know, we left them up floating all day.
Yep.
And that's a great tip. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight. I wish you the best of success in all the tournaments that you're going to be fishing. And congratulations again on winning Monsters of the Ohio 2016.
I thank a couple people before we go.
You can talk about sponsors or anything you want to. You just go right ahead with it.
I'd just like to give a special thank you to Larry Hughes, Ben Goble, Aaron Wheatley, and you guys for all of this, everything.
Well, thank you so much. I and Larry both, and I know they appreciate you mentioning that. And you know, I know that Jim and Sheila and Brandon down at Bass and More, they're thrilled that you caught those fish on bait you got from them. I promise you they are. But
Larry Hughes and Ben Goble are two great sportsmen, and I think very highly of them.
No, they are, and I visit.
Well.
They do. I visit with those guys once in a while, and we've had Larry on the show numerous times, and Ben and I visit back and forth and message back and forth about different things that go on that concerns our sport. And they are all very conservation minded and want to save the fish for future generations of stuff that's going on. And you know, you're right. They're some good guys, and you hooked up with the right people to try to figure out stuff. But thanks again for being on the show. Have a great evening. And, you know, once our show's over, when you guys get done, just sign out. And once it's over, it'll post to YouTube, and you can sit around and watch yourself on the show and see how you liked it.
All righty. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you guys very
All right,
much.
guys.
Thank you. We do appreciate it. If you don't
All right, buddy.
If you don't want to make your own dragon tails, you can get them at bottom dwellers.
That's right. Dave Ashby's got them, ain't he?
Oh, yeah, he's got them.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks again. The
All right,
boys
thank
really
you.
got it.
We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right, sir. They got it going on down there. I mean, sneak in there and beat the best in the business down there in Monsters on Ohio. That was a hell of a deal. I'm so happy for them guys. I haven't met them yet, but believe me, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guys. Yeah, they're really good trophy hunters. They just never been on the competitive side. They know exactly how to catch fish. They're not lacking in that part.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, the competitive part, you know, strategies and stuff like that. After they pieced all that together, it was on. The rest of it was just getting out there and getting it done.
Right, and I'm going to tell you something. Them boys are hooked. You win an event like Monsters on the Ohio, there's nobody going to tell me that they ain't going to start fishing a lot of tournaments real soon.
Yes, they'll be on. Yeah, they spent a lot of time on this when they did their homework, and it worked out for them. So, you know, I don't think they're going to be able to do them all that way. I mean, I can't see being able to spend 2 or 3 weeks at each location, but I'd love to be able to study for 3 weeks for Monsters of the Ohio and be up there for 3 weeks.
Well, I'm so happy for them. There's nothing better than getting new people into the sport. And there was a lot of new teams down there this year, and a lot of them done really good. You know, like I say, it was a great event. It always is a great event. And, you know, things just roll along with it. It just, you know, we're going to be into the 8th one next year. And 192 boats in this one. I don't see how you can miss 200 next time. I just don't see how it could happen. Every year that I've been down, this is our 4th one, and every year there's more and more and more and more. You know, 200 is going to happen. It just is going to.
Yeah, and I one of the things that I thought was pretty cool was Steve Henderson waiting until Aaron got on the stage and then told him that he was going to be part of their pro staff. That was really cool.
It really was, and Aaron works really hard, and he likes Sea Arc boats. Sea Arc is the title sponsor for Monster on the Ohio, and he'll do them a great job promoting their products. I think that is really cool. Now, Doc, we did understand, if I heard right, that they're coming out with a new V-type front end sort of boat for next year. I have not seen or heard a whole lot about it.
No, I haven't either. Heard a lot of people talking about it.
Right. I'm anxious to see this because I after having a V front end boat, I don't think I could ever go back to a flat bottom. I've had several of those and loved every one of them. There's not a thing in the world wrong with them. But when you get to be a little older, the V ones ride a little bit smoother, and I like that. Somebody was talking to somebody down there the other night, and they was talking about air ride seats and anything to save my old butt, make it a little more comfortable. I'm all over that.
Yeah. Well, you can't get smoother than what you're running.
Well, I have to go.
It cut right through the waves.
Yeah, that Monster Cat is a heck of a boat. I got a guy called me today, is very interested in buying it, and I hope that he does. It's a great boat. We have such a good time in it, and we was down there the other day, and a guy asked me how fast we was going. I said, well, we didn't have to go very fast. We just had to be out in front. And you don't have to be the first one to the spots. The only reason why I do that is because I've so many times I've got outrun to the place I wanted to fish, and somebody be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was down in St. Louis last year. The first 4 spots that we picked out and went to, there was somebody beat us to every one of them. And basically, all you got to do is be in the top several, and if you've got 2 or 3 places marked out to fish, you'll get to one of them. But with our tracker, it's pretty, 34 mile an hour is it. So them boys with them big boats, they always outrun us. But I promise you, they never had any more fun than we did in that boat. We won some tournaments in it. We've placed in some tournaments in it. We've had a really good time, and I wouldn't be afraid to get in it today and go fish a tournament next week in it. But that Monster Cat is very smooth. It's a good riding boat. It runs really nice. It has the storage. Everything locks up. That's the biggest thing that I see that I like about it over any boat that I've ever been around is when you load it up on the trailer, you put everything away, and you lock the compartments. You get to the motel room, you walk inside with your suitcase, and you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to drag rods and reels and bait and all that stuff in there. Everything locks up, and you're good to go. And if you have bait that you're concerned with, I have a cooler that fits in the live well, and you can lock the live well up. So it's an outstanding boat. There's a lot of great boats on the market, and this is a very nice boat, and it's the nicest boat I've ever had anything to do with, and it'll probably be the nicest boat I ever do have anything to do with. It's just a really a good piece, and I am anxious to see the new design of the Sea Arc, but that G2 or G3 boat that girls fished out of, I thought that was very nice, but again, it's a V front end, and they do ride a little bit better, and I know we followed Mr. Ken Pryor down. Well, he followed us part of the time, and we followed him part of the time from St. Louis down to Owensboro, and we had such a good time with Ken. We sat with him at the captain's meeting down there, and poor old Brad Shoemate, he got up to go to the bathroom, and Brad's wife and Ken got making pictures of Ken on putting them on Brad's phone for him, and just crazy stuff like that. That's what makes that event such a blast. I mean, it just was a really good time. It always is. I just, heck, I'm looking forward to next year. I really am.
Already. Yeah, me too.
Now, Chuck, he goes down there and catches fish. We didn't catch no fish. He gets to go through the weigh-in line, and I can't stand it. We can't let that happen again.
No, that's first time for me. So
yeah, well,
in the monster.
we can't. If Chuck's going to go, if Chuck goes through that line, we got to be going through that line too. That's all there is to it.
Well, I was hoping to approve. You know, when me and Leanne went, we weighed in 24 pounds. Then me and Kittner went last year, and my boat broke at blast off when it was time for our flight to leave, and I didn't have no, I couldn't get past the bridge. We weighed 44 pounds. So I'm like, well, I need to approve again this year, but I only weighed in 16 pounds.
Well, you know what happens.
58th place out of 177 boats, 191 boats. So 58th place, that ain't where I wanted to be. I'm still disappointed in myself, but that's just going to make me get better.
That's exactly right. We went out Wednesday down there and we found these fish, and I got to telling Doc about them, and he got down there and we jumped out Thursday and decided those was the fish we was going to fish for. And they was there. The fish we needed was in that stretch of water. We just couldn't get them to go, and that happens sometimes, and it's a little disappointing. But to be in the boat with Cindy and Doc was the greatest day that I could have possibly asked for. We had a really good time. Yeah. I would give up the catching fish for a time like that any day.
Yeah, the gar made for an exciting time, especially when we thought we had a blue on, because he took that rod down.
Now, Chuck, you got to understand, this big old gar come out 30 feet of water.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
Yeah, most of the time they're not that deep, but he was, and I told Doc, I said, this thing's just coming right up to the boat. He's swimming right to us. But when he hit the surface, he took back off down the bottom. He didn't like the looks of that boat at all.
No, because I turned around. I was reaching for the net, and then I heard this big splash behind the boat. I said, oh, that's a good one. And then when I looked back, I saw dots all over the tail, and uh-oh, wrong fish.
Yeah, we messed up here. Oh, well, there'll be a better time next year, and we'll get back after it. We got a couple of big events coming up, and I don't know what's going on between now and the end of the year. I haven't stayed up on it. I've concentrated on the last couple of tournaments that we've been to. I know there is some more tournaments coming up, but January we got Monsters down at what's the name of that, Chuck?
Wheeler.
Winter Blues.
Winter Blues. There we go. We got Winter Blues coming up, and then Josh Van over the end of January has a memorial tournament, and for Paul Strouth, that'll be another good event. So we've got some more stuff to shoot for, and I know that Winter Blues is Daniel puts on a heck of a show down there. It's a really good time. Everybody that likes to winter fish and anybody that likes to go to Wheeler will be there. It's a blast. I don't remember what weekend he's got that. Do you, Chuck?
Winter Blues, I think it's New Year's Eve.
That's the way it normally is over that weekend, and we went down there the last 3 years, had a really, really good time. I know I talked to Jason Mathena a little bit today, and I know him and Vicky are planning on being there, and she was sick over the weekend. I hope she's doing a lot better. We can't have nothing happen to moms. We can't, she just gotta get all healed up. But those two events coming up will be really good for the first of the year, and everybody will be checking them babies out and getting ready to go for that. And I know there's a bunch of local tournaments that's getting ready to do some fall fishing and into early winter, so it ought to be a great season. Right now, the fish ought to be biting if we can keep these fronts from moving through every other day. Yeah. Chuck, what do you got for closing stuff up tonight?
Well, the Chattahoochee Hill Jack guys, they're canceling their October 22nd tournament on Neely Henry. Their top 6 boats wouldn't be able to make it, our top 6 teams. So their next tournament's going to be on Wheeler Lake November 12th. So if you want to go fish a good tournament and meet some good guys, the Hill Jacks are top notch. So Alabama Catfish Trail, they're having an October 22nd tournament on Gunnersville. They've hooked up with the Hookem Trail up on Wheeler, and I think they're going to join forces, and that's going to be a pretty good tournament. So look up the Alabama Catfish Trail tournament on October 22nd. It's going to be Daniel's last regular trail. He's not going to have a trail next year. So the Hold'em Hook guys will still be having tournaments next year as far as I know. And I think he's wanting to spread them out a little bit more instead of just having them all on Wheeler. So he may hit Wilson and some other places. But, yeah, those are some really good guys. So we need to get catfish a little bit better here in Alabama.
Yeah, the fish you got down there ought to be some great tournaments going on down there every month.
Oh, yeah. And Tony Caton, I got with him last week, and I told him that this front was coming. I said, man, what you got for a front? And he sent me a Big Cat Fever medium heavy rod. And it's pretty fast tip, and it worked great Saturday. I was really impressed with it for a lake rod. I didn't get to try in their heavy rods or anything like that because I hadn't been doing any river fishing or anything. But that medium heavy rod, it seemed to be pretty good. We caught a couple of fish on it, 2 out of the 3, so it did help with that light bite. I didn't have too much light gear with me, and I was really worried about that. Having a light enough tip, using that braid so the fish wouldn't feel it. After Larry talking about the roller tips and all that, I started thinking about, trying to get something with a really fast tip, something really limber. So I guess it works. It did a really good job. I brought a couple of the Ugly Stick Tiger mediums. They're like spaghetti noodles. And I had a couple of 8-pound catfish hit those, and it bent the rod up under the boat, and I thought I had a monster. It wasn't nothing. Yeah, man, them things will bend. It bent all the way down to about the, 4th or 5th eye, just straight down in the water. And drilled down on it, and there wasn't nothing there. It was just an 8-pound fish. But yep. those Big Cat Fever rods, it really worked out for me. So I'm really hoping I'm gonna try it out here on this lake I live on, see how it works out for me here, because these fish are so finicky around here. They just don't want to. If they feel that rod, they let go immediately. Been down about 6 inches, boom, gone. So I can't wait till they get back slamming them again, if they ever do. I'm just used to.
They get back to it. They'll be back.
It just seemed like it was the longest spawn this year. It was just in and out. It's like it just lingered on. I don't know what happened this year, if it was the weather or what, but it was a lot of my couple of times I got to go out fun fishing. It was just really, disappointing because, you're getting bites all day and nothing just wants to hang on, even with stinger hooks. I don't know how they do it. Bend the rig and still not get hooked. I can get 2 feet from one and get it stuck in me. And they can pull the darn head off of a double hook rig and not even get the hook. So, yeah, I just want to let everybody know about this last Alabama Catfish Trail tournament on Gunnersville, and hopefully we'll have a good turnout and, show Daniel all the appreciation for the past couple of years having this trail for us to fish, and he provided really good service for us.
Awesome. I know you got some stuff for us, Doc, and I surely got a Doc's tip of the night.
Yeah, I don't have anything else other than my tip for the night. And my tip for the night can be used on either Lowrance, Garmin, or Humminbird. Every time you guys turn on your units and you start running them, it starts leaving a trail. After a couple of years or so, you end up getting a bunch of trails on your units, and it starts eating up a lot of your memory. So just every now and then, go in, pull up your trails, what I do is I delete all my trails. All they are is cookie crumbs of where your boat's been traveling up and down the river or up and down lakes. Your waypoints all stay right there. And, you can target right, go right back to your waypoints and target them. But it'll free up a lot of memory, and it'll also make your unit run a lot faster than what you normally see. I meant to do that to Lyle's before I left because I think that's what's causing his to run a little bit slow. So just every now and then, guys, just pull up your trails and delete them out of there. And that's Doc's tip for the night.
That's a great one, Doc. Anything to make those units work a little faster, a little more efficiently, to work correctly, there's always a great tip. The only thing that I have, Jerry Diller sent us a message, and we talked about it the other night. October 22nd, Central Texas Catfish Trail is having a tournament on the Brazos River. If you guys are in the area, you want to fish a great tournament, go down and see those guys. Their classic will be December 3rd and 4th on Lake Whitney. Jerry says that's really going to be a big tournament, so anybody that gets in an opportunity to go down there and join the Central Texas Catfish Trail, jump on in there. I know they would love to have you. And those boys down there, they've been catching some pretty nice fish. I'm really, really looking at Tawakoni next spring. I'd like to go down there and fish the Cabela's opener that they have down there every year. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I've been giving it a lot of thought, and maybe we can make that happen. It's going to be a blast down there. I know Roger Gerloff got second in the Owensboro tournament over the weekend, and he goes down there every year, and Justin Cook and a lot of them guys, Brent Riddle, all them guys run down there, and fish that tournament every year, and they tell me it's just a hoot, and I'm looking forward to trying to make that happen if we can, but we'll see how that works out. We got plenty of time to figure it out. Been a pretty good show tonight. I was really happy to see those guys win that tournament and be on the show. So we're going to wind her up until next Monday night. For Doc Lang and Chuck Davis, and I'm Lyle Stokes, and thanks for watching Catfish Weekly.